Okay, so good morning, everybody. My name is Allie. I am based out of Boston. I'm a physical therapist. I've been practicing for about 5 years, and I'm also a certified Pilates instructor. So today's class is going to be a 30-minute class about back pain. It's going to mostly be movement-oriented. So that being said, if you can start to prepare your space somewhere where you can lay down comfortably. If you have a yoga mat, that's great. If you have a beach towel or even just a soft carpet, that's wonderful as well. And if you have a small pillow handy, it may come into use as a prop. It's not necessary, but if you want to grab that and have it nearby just in case, you can do so now. So I do want to say that with this class today, nothing should bother your back. The class is meant to feel good, so I will be offering a number of modifications. If you need that for your body, listen to your body. Feel free to take those modifications. I'm also going to be coming up to the camera and checking on your form. So make sure that your camera is oriented so I can see you. That way I can give you real-time feedback about how you're doing. And we will save some time at the end for questions in case there are any. So with that being said, I'd like you guys to all find a comfortable spot on your mat lying down. I'm going to stay seated just so that I can check on all your form for the time being, but find a comfortable position lying down. And if you lie down and it doesn't feel great for your back right away, go ahead and bend both of your knees, put your feet flat on the floor. So you can keep your knees bent in this starting posture. Just find a position that's comfortable. You may even need a pillow for your head to get started, and just relax down onto the mat. And once you guys all look pretty good there, awesome camera angles here, thank you. Once you guys find a comfortable position, you can keep your eyes open or closed, and we're just gonna start to scan your body here. So take a moment to settle in, and there's no right or wrong in these postures, you're just noticing your body. Maybe scanning from the very top of your head, down into your neck, your upper back, into your lower back, hips and feet. And maybe you're noticing any differences from side to side, any spots of tension. And just start to tune your awareness into those places. And as you lie here, start to tune your attention into your breath. See if you can imagine your breath, visualize your breath. For those of you who have taken my class the last couple of weeks, you're starting to get closer in tune with how your body breathes, and maybe that's down low into your belly, maybe it's wide out to the side in your rib cage, maybe it's even high up in your shoulders and your neck. If you're feeling that tension or breath up high into your shoulders, see if you can send it down a little bit lower. In this resting posture, we shouldn't need that accessory breathing, that extra breath up high in our shoulders. See if you can allow the breath to be gentle and be natural here, lower in your belly and wide out to the side in your rib cage. We're gonna start to introduce a little bit of movement here, so I will join you guys on the mat. If your legs are extended, start by bending one knee at a time and place your feet down comfortably on the mat. Allow your arms to rest down by your side, and we're gonna start with some gentle pelvic tilting here. So that is rocking your pelvis back towards your face and then unraveling your pelvis to create space under your low back. So this motion may start as to be a little bit stiff in the morning, maybe even a little bit tender. Work within your comfortable range of motion. So nice and easy, and your comfortable range of motion may be different than mine and different than your neighbors. You're just gently closing the space under your low back and opening the space. And hopefully, as you start to move through this range of motion, it gets a little bit bigger each time. So nice and easy here. We'll try about 5 more repetitions like that. I'm just gonna take a quick peek in there. Good, and if you're feeling continued tension in your shoulders, just lightly press down into your palms. And last time there. We're now going to introduce some rotation. So bring your knees together. Keeping your knees together, you're going to gently rock your legs from side to side. Again, only going as far as it feels comfortable for your spine. It's early, we're just getting started in the day. We may have already spent quite a bit of time sitting. So nice and easy, rotating side to side. Try and keep your legs together. It's okay for your hips to lift in this motion, but you want to keep your shoulder blades down onto the mat. Allow your breath to just come as it naturally feels, but just make sure you are breathing. Sometimes when our backs have the tendency to hold our breath, increases pressure around our spine. We'll do 2 more here. And last time, and settle somewhere right in the middle. So we're going to get into our first strengthening exercise for the day. And with our back, some of the most important muscles that support our spine are our glute muscles, or our hip extensors, our butt muscles. So we're going to plant our feet firmly into the ground and lift our hips up into a bridge. Now, I mentioned this is an exercise for your butt muscles. So bring your hands to your hips. Make sure that your butt muscles are actually on, that you can feel them working. It's not uncommon to lift into a bridge and feel some soreness in our lower back. If that's the case, think of drawing your rib cage down, like you're connecting your ribs towards your hips, and just hold this position. Now, if you feel comfortable, we'll add some movement. So you're going to lower and lift the hips, nice and easy, maybe pressing an inch or 2 higher each time, but without lifting by arching your lower back. So you're just lifting because those hip muscles are pressing your hips up to the ceiling. Now, if you've been in my class a couple of times and this is starting to feel a little bit easy, you can play around with trying single leg. So you lift one of your legs and start to lift one at a time. Now, if this is new to you, that can be a lot of pressure on your back. So stick with the double leg version of lifting and lowering. I'm going to come in and take a peek. If you are practicing that single leg version, go ahead and switch to the opposite side. You may also start to find that one side is much harder than the other one. And so maybe after a class, you spend a couple extra minutes focusing on that side. Good. Jasmine, try and keep the leg that's lifted off the floor still when you lift up. Same for you, Susie. So you're going to keep that leg still, just lift and lower on your right side. Good. We'll try 2 more there. And last time, everybody lower down and take a quick rest. So we just worked the muscles on the back side of our body. Today, now we'll continue to work on the muscles on the front side of our spine, which is our abdominals. So once again, move your spine in and out of that range of motion of the pelvic tilt and settle somewhere halfway between the 2 extremes of your pelvic tilt. From here, gently hug your right knee in towards your chest, but do so without smushing your whole spine into the mat. You want this to be gentle. You're holding that right knee in towards your chest, and then float the left leg out straight. Now, if this bothers your back, lift your left leg up a little bit higher. If this feels really easy, you can lower your left leg down towards the floor. We're going to start to switch the legs and switch the legs. So one at a time, alternating, pulling one knee in towards your chest. And I want you guys to think about opposition here. Not only are you pressing one leg out, but you're pulling the opposite leg in. So you get the benefit of a nice little stretch for your hips while also starting to work into those deeper core muscles. Now you have the option to continue here. If you would like to make this a deeper stretch, you're going to straighten both of your legs and start to scissor your legs in space. Now again, this is a progression. If this doesn't feel good for your body, go back to the original version and imagine like I put a glass of water right on your stomach and you are trying to keep that glass of water from spilling even a drop as you switch your legs in space. We'll go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Gently rock your legs from side to side, massaging out your lower back. Now, go ahead and take that rocking motion all the way up to sitting. And maybe you roll a couple of times. It may actually feel kind of nice on your spine to roll a few times and come all the way up to a seated posture. From here, we're going to flip on over to an all fours position. When you set up for the all fours position, your hands should be right underneath your shoulders and knees directly underneath your hips, finding a flat back posture to begin. Now, if you have any wrist sensitivity, you can come down onto your forearms. With any knee sensitivity, that's where this pillow can come into play. So you place the pillow underneath your knees and find a comfortable setup. We're going to work through a cat-cow here. So you're going to allow your spine to drop down and then press away from the floor to round. Allow this to be gentle. You're moving with your breath. And again, there's really no right or wrong way to breathe here, as long as you are breathing. But I'd like you to focus some of your attention on your rib cage. So think of pulling your rib cage up and in and allowing your rib cage to drop down to the floor. I'm going to come take a quick peek at everybody's posture here. Comfortable at your own breath. Colin, try and relax your shoulders away from your ears. Good, same thing for you, Natalia. Awesome, guys. Beautiful range of motion here. We're going to try about 3 more at your own pace. Last 2. Last time, settle somewhere right in the middle. Now, we're going to go into another little exercise here, working on balance. And again, you can stay right in this posture. If you feel comfortable, you're going to try reaching your right arm in front of you, your left arm back behind you, and balance. So this exercise, this balance, works kind of our whole support system for the spine. It works on those hip muscles, our core muscles, even a little bit of our lats and our upper body that support our spine from the top. And we just breathe and balance here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that side down. And we'll go right into the opposite side. So this time, right leg, left arm, reach away from one another. In this position, think of lengthening your spine, like I pumped little bits of air between each of your vertebrae. Reach longer, hold. We breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower everything down. Awesome job there, guys. We're gonna stay in this all fours position for just a moment longer, this time to add some rotation for our upper body. So shift your body weight over to the left and open up your right arm up to the ceiling. From here, we thread the right arm underneath our left arm, bend your elbow and let your head, neck, and shoulder rest down. You then open up and stretch, reaching up to the ceiling. Again, thread your right arm underneath your left arm and twist, and come all the way reaching back up. This is a stretch for the upper part of our back. So the part of our back that's closest to our neck, and it also adds in a nice shoulder stretch. So sometimes stiffness in our upper back can actually give us pain in our lower back because we lack that mobility to be able to do some of our regular movements. We'll do 2 more here. Awesome, guys. One more time, and replace the right hand down. This time we shift our body weight to the right. We lift the left arm up to the ceiling, threading your left hand underneath your right arm, gentle twist, and then open up. You can follow that hand with your eyes. I'd like you guys to continue here. I'm going to take a moment to check in on form on this side. Good. Don, try and shift your body weight forward a little bit so your hips are right over your knees. Awesome. Good. Wei Wei, you can let your elbow bend on the opposite side so your head and neck can come down onto the floor. So in this case, your right elbow can bend when you drop the left one down. There you go. Awesome, guys. We'll do one more on this side. And then come all the way back to center. So from here, we're gonna slowly lower yourself down onto your stomach. Now, if laying on your stomach right off the bat, it doesn't feel good for your back, put the pillow underneath your hips here and separate your feet a little bit wider than your hip distance, turning your heels together, toes apart. We're gonna place the hands flat down on the mat onto the floor. From here, we start to push ourselves up, and maybe you can only lift your upper back. If it feels okay, go ahead and lift up your spine into a full extension. Now, this is an exercise you're going to see in every one of my back classes because this position is the opposite of the position we spend most of our time in, which is flexion. This is a full spine extension. And that being said, it can start off a little bit stiff and tender. Work within your comfortable range of motion. But if you can tolerate really slowly working into this stretch, it can be wonderful for our spine to reverse the effects of sitting all day. So keep this one in mind. If you only have a minute or two throughout your day to take a stretch, this can be a really good bang for your back. Try about 2 more there, nice and easy. And last time, push yourself up, and then you can bend your knees, and this time sit back in a little child's pose, reaching your hips back over your heels and walking your arms forward, and just breathe in that posture. You can even let your forehead rest down on the mat to let go of any tension in your neck. And just take a moment to let go. Good. Now slowly come on up to a kneeling position. I'm going to show you guys this one from the side. So you want to try and sit back over your heels with your feet flat on the floor. Now, if you have tight ankles, tight knees, tight hips, this is not going to feel great. This is another situation where you put that pillow right underneath your hips. So we're going to practice another little glute strengthening exercise, which is kind of like a squat down on your knees. So you want to stack your spine up tall and then lift up to a tall kneeling position. In this setup, your shoulders should be over your hips, hips over your knees. You're now going to let your nose tip forward, hinging your hips back over your heels and pressing your spine up tall. Slowly hinge your hips back over your heels and lift up tall. This movement is called a hip hinging motion, and it's how we bend our bodies through our hips, not bending our bodies with our back. So if you notice, I'm bending over, but my back position has not actually changed at all. And this is the foundation of a squat and how we really want to be bending over to get something on the floor. We'll try 4 more like that. And 3, lift up tall. Last 2, imagine getting even taller each time. And last one, come all the way up. Good. Now from here, we're gonna go into a little plank position. So hands are gonna come down on the mat. Again, if you have any wrist sensitivity, come down onto your forearms, but I will demonstrate up on the hands, and we're gonna walk your feet back into a plank. Now, if a plank is not in your practice, stay down on your knees. It's okay to leave your knees down on the floor. Just find that comfortable plank position for you and hold it for just a moment. Now, we're gonna start to introduce some movement into this plank. So from here, we push our hips up and back. We find a downward dog shape, and then shift our body weight forward. For those down on the knees, you push your hips back, you send your hips forward. So it's a slow bending at the hips and shifting forward. It's actually the same movement we just did when we were kneeling, but now we're in a plank position. So feel that gentle stretch to your hamstrings, maybe even the back of your calves. We'll do 2 more here. And one more time, come all the way down. You're gonna sit down onto your mat. Awesome, guys. So far in class, we've bent our spines forward, we've bent our spines backwards, and we've rotated our spines. The final spine movement is moving sideways. So what I'm gonna ask is that you try and sit with both of your legs off to the side so that you're sitting down on your hips. It doesn't matter which side, we're gonna do both of them. So just tip your legs off to one side and plant the hands that is closest to your hips that's on the floor, also down on the floor. Now we're gonna do some of that sideways movement first by reaching our outside arm up and over and down. So it's like you're a single arm windmill here, just opening up your side waist. Now, this is sort of the start of introducing a big opening to our side body. If this is feeling really easy, you're gonna start to stretch your legs out and maybe lift your hips up and lower your hips down to increase that rainbow arcing motion of your spine, opening up into your side body. And again, you can stay down on the floor and just practice lifting, imagining like your spine is an accordion, like you're opening up and closing that accordion here. We do 2 more. And last time, awesome. And then we're gonna switch our legs over to the other side so our opposite hand can come down onto the floor. Again, you reach the outside arm up and over and start to stretch your side body, imagining you're in that accordion type posture. I'm gonna take a look here. If you would like to build and start working into that side plank, stretch out your legs a little bit farther. Kristen, I love your guest in this video. And start to lift your hips up to the ceiling, arcing up as high as you can go. Beautiful, Bethany, that was great. Very nice, Jasmine. Good. Natalia, take your shoulder down away from your ear on the right arm. Good, there you go. Great, guys, nice posture. We're gonna try about 4 more. And 3, last 2, and last time, come right into the middle. Good. So I want to show you guys some stretching and some exercises you can do using your office chair. So I know that a lot of us, and it's okay if you don't have your chair nearby, I just want to show you guys a couple of things. Most of us are spending a lot of time at home sitting, and we may not even have an office chair. We might be sitting on our couches or even sitting in our beds to do a lot of work. So I want to show you guys a couple of stretches if you have just a minute or 2 of your time to do while you're sitting. Okay, now the best advice I can give you is to get up and move your spine throughout the day. Our spines don't like to spend all day sitting. So all the stretches I've given you guys throughout this class today are something that you can integrate with little bits and pieces throughout your day. But if you are sitting, you can gently come up to a tall position and start to rotate your spine by holding the back of your chair, and your opposite arm comes to the outside knee. Now you guys can do this even just sitting down on your mat right now, just to get a feel for that gentle spine twist. We'll do the same thing up and over to the other side, reaching back behind you and opening up your arm with the opposite pressure into your knee. Beautiful, nice postures there, guys. Now, the other big stretch that I'd like to show you is one for your hip flexors. And so when we sit, our hip flexors are kind of right across the front of our thighs. When we sit, those muscles get really shortened. And so I've shown you guys a couple of times now how to do the exercise in kneeling. We're gonna do the stretch today in standing. So if everybody can stand up for me. If you're someone who feels like their balance is a little bit off, just make sure you're near something that you can hold on to for balance. It can just be a wall or a chair. I'm going to demonstrate with my chair here. You're going to stand up nice and tall and bring one ankle towards your bottom and stand up. Now, if you can't reach your foot, I'm going to show you a modification in just a moment. For those of you who can reach your ankle behind you, hold it. And then think of lifting your spine up tall. Sometimes holding this posture can actually give you a little bit of soreness in your back. If that's the case, you're gonna softly bend your standing leg and tighten up your abdominal muscles. So think of drawing your rib cage in towards your spine like you're giving yourself a little, you're giving your stomach a little hug. And just breathe and hold this posture. If you're feeling this more down low in your knee and not up high in your hip, try and pull your knee back in space and stand up a little bit taller. You might find your body wanting to round forward. Lift your spine up taller. That should bring the stretch more to the front of your hip. Now, if you can't reach your foot, you're going to use your chair to put your foot on the chair. Okay, so this might be as far as you can go to get a good stretch in the front of your hip. So we'll go ahead and switch now to the other side. And you want to aim to hold this stretch for about 30 to 45 seconds. It should be gentle. It should feel like a stretch, not pain, not pulling. And you may, again, find that one side is much tighter than the other. So just notice that. If you're having trouble holding your balance, find something to hold on to. It's much easier to relax into this stretch when you have something to support yourself. Awesome, guys. And then you can let that side go. For those of you who are new to my class, I want to give a very quick overview of how to look at your spine posture when you are sitting. So when you look at the lower half of your body, you want to find a 90-degree angle about at your hips, knees, ankles, and then with your lower back. So for a lot of chairs, they cause us to sort of sit slumpy. You may actually need a pillow to go behind your back to give you that extra reminder to kind of stack your spine up tall, holding that 90-degree angle. So I will leave some time to open up for questions if you have other specific questions about ergonomics or anything else about your back. I do also want to say that if you guys enjoy the part of class that's more strength building, we will have a Pilates class today at 11 that involves a lot of the same kind of stretching and postural work that we did for our lower backs, just a bit expanded. So that being said, I will open up the room for questions. You guys can message them to me or raise your hands. Any questions out there, guys? Jasmine, go ahead. Let me unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, thanks for class. I just had a question about the last stretch for the hip flex. Yeah. If you feel it in your knee, what should you do to adjust it?
Yep. So if you feel it more in your knee, let me try and show you here. I'm going to tip this down a little bit. You want to bring your knee, see how my knee is in front of my body here? You want to try and bring it behind your opposite leg and then stand up tall. That stretches the front of your hip more than the knee itself. But that being said, the hip flexor is a long muscle. It actually goes down up beyond your knee. So that may just be the part of the muscle that you are the tightest in. So if you really, you make all those adjustments, you still feel it in your knee, that's okay. You're still stretching that muscle. It's just a different part than up high at your hip.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Chastity, I'm trying to unmute you. Oh, there we go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So if anyone doesn't have any more questions, we would ask that you give us feedback. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to help guide you through the feedback app. Just give me 1 second while I share my screen from my iPhone. Oh, actually, no, it's going to be from here. Okay. Ali, can you allow me to share my screen?
Yes. Let me see. Did that work? I also did have a typed question here that I just want to answer quickly, asking if there was a handout. So these sessions are recorded. So if you go on the Perks at Work website, you will be able to see both all the sessions that I've done over the past couple of weeks, as well as today's session. So if you did miss the beginning of session, you can always go back once that's posted and get the beginning of class as well. Chastity, is that working for you?
Yes. So I'm going to share my screen now. You should see our feedback app. You will be logging into this. If you cannot log in right now, that's okay. You can log in later and leave us feedback then. So what we want to do is go up here to our give feedback, and then I'm going to search for Ali. And here she is. I'm going to give her some feedback on today's session. And we're going to choose back pain, our morning session tag. And then I will say, and then you can just provide any ideas or thoughts you may have for future classes that will help us going forward, as we have sessions every Thursday, so your input is highly appreciated. And I submitted feedback for Ali. Yes, perfect, okay. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now. So you could just leave us feedback and then drop off once you're done with our session. We thank you again for joining us and hope we see you again next Thursday, 9 a.m.
For those of you who are still on and still have a minute to listen, I did get a couple other little questions here through the group chat. One of them is there a certain chair that I recommend? I get this question a lot as a physical therapist, and I can tell you that there are thousands and thousands of good chairs out there. I wouldn't say that there's one particular brand that I recommend, but you do want to try and take measurements of your body and measure that compared to the chair. So oftentimes when you go on these websites, the chair it will list the depth and the height. You want it, the most important things are really that you're able to get your feet on the ground. So if you look at the adjustable heights and you've measured your leg and you're not going to be able to get your feet on the ground, probably not a good fit for you. And the other half that's quite important, especially when it comes to lower back support, is the depth of the chair. So if you measure your thigh bone and you find that the chair is much deeper than your thigh bone, you can almost guarantee that it's not going to give you a very good lumbar support. But there are lots and lots of good chairs out there. There are also a lot of accessories you can get that make a not so good chair a better chair. One of my favorites is the Tush Cush, and it's just a pad that you put down on any kind of regular chair that helps tip your pelvis forward. And it's sort of the most affordable version beyond going out and buying a whole new chair. It's something you can try in the meantime, and that's you can buy them on Amazon, of course. You can buy them in some sporting goods stores. It's called the Tush Cush. So thank you guys for joining. We're going to have another back pain class this afternoon if you want to come and ask more questions as well.